Well, good morning, everyone. Hopefully you guys are hearing me okay. Hopefully Dawn can see the slide. I'll click it again. It is Monday, and what an amazing Monday it is. I gained time today. I love that. I love that when it happens. Because I got up this morning and my mind was going in a million directions, that I had a million things to do. And I just do what I do. I got to it. There was no use thinking about the million things I needed to do. I just started doing what needed to get done. A little secret there. How's everyone doing today? I want to check in with everybody, see how your weekend was, see where you are on the feeling scale. Do you have stickies around your house that remind you to be happy? Okay, remember? Judy says no voice. Does that mean that you have no voice, Judy, because you're sick, or you can't hear me? Very sleepy but happy. Yeah. Okay, good. As long as you guys can hear me. If you guys could help anyone who can't hear me, and they just need to log out and back in. That's usually fixes it. It's marvelous Monday. I'm just. You know what? I had the most amazing, absolutely amazing day yesterday. My flight. Best girls in the world, I really do. I got an absolutely stunning bouquet of flowers from Brenda. We had an amazing time. It was Bennett's birthday, and they're made by a woman named Joanna Beasley, and you can look her up. I do believe you can buy her stuff online, Joanna Beasley. I'll write her name in here. You can look her up on Facebook. Go like her. Go check her out. She's a pretty awesome lady. She's a local gal from Calgary, and I think Tina's probably one of her best customers. Because I tend to get, I was wearing the pair she bought me for Christmas. So these were my Christmas earrings. Again, that's a Swarovski crystal, which is very, oh, they're beautiful. They're just, oh, I'm spoiled. What can I say? It just brings tears of joy to my eyes. And that, my friends, is what life is all about. So who's excited today? Who's excited about a new week to move forward? Who's excited about starting something new today? You wanted a dragon for Mother's Day. Did you get one, Kim? Yes, Swarovskis are, and she makes a lot of her jewelry using the Swarovski, and they're beautiful. But she's a local girl, so now I have two pairs of. Actually, I have three. I have another pair that I bought at a silent auction. So, who's excited? Well, Diane has inspired me to venture somewhere new today, and I hope you're going to be okay with it, and we're going to take our time, and we're going to really, and you may have to go out and buy a new book. Yes. We'll talk about it today. We'll get an agreement of it, because this is what I want to discover and explore with you moving forward. And it may take us some time to get through this book. And I think that because we've been studying Ask and It Is Given, reading this is going to make, oh my goodness, it's just, it's going to be like TNT for you. I really believe it. Yes, so if you don't have this, I'll write it down. It's called TNT, The Power Within You, How to Release the Forces Inside You and Get What You Want. It is the first book that, and I'll tell you a story about it in a moment. Claude M. Bristol is the author. TNT, The Power Within You, and it looks just like this. All right, it's available in paperback. Of course, it won't look dog-eared, okay? So I got to tell you, this book was published in 1987, and I suspect that's when Dawn bought this book. This was Dawn's book. And back in 2003, I went back to work for a while. I worked for an accounting firm because I'm an accountant. That's what I do. I could go out tomorrow and be working immediately. I would have a job right away. I'm an accountant. I'm actually a very good one. Um, and our car broke down, and so I had to take the bus to work. And it was a long bus ride. It was about 45 minutes to an hour. So I needed something to read on the bus. And as I was looking for something to read, this was the only thing I found. I wanted something small that I could carry with me, a paperback. And I thought, well, this looks interesting. I was doing Tools to Life with Devlin Steele. So I was doing my exercises every morning. I get up in the morning and I would do my exercises. And then I started reading this book. And I have to tell you, I've read it a couple of times, cover to cover. It's big, okay? That's all that. But this book was written. This book was published in 1987, but it was written in 1954, the year that Dawn and I were born. Maybe that's why it resonates with me so much, because it was written when I was born. Maybe I wrote this book. Maybe Dawn wrote this book. I don't know. Yeah, Amazon. How much is it on Amazon, Kim? So I started reading this book on the bus, and it was pretty phenomenal. And so I just want to get you going on it. I want you to get excited about it. We're going to release the forces inside you to get what you want in anything and everything. Now, the first book he wrote was called The Magic of Believing, and I haven't read it. I have read bits and pieces. I'll open it up and I'll read, but let me show you why I haven't read it. Can you see? You can see my fingers. Can you see that you can hardly, even if I bring it up here, you can barely read the text, okay? So I find it very difficult to actually read it. But in The Magic of Believing, he talks about how I came to tap the power of belief, mind stuff experiments. That sound familiar? This book was written in 1948. Okay, 1948. Mind stuff experiments. 1948, guys. Wrap your heads around this. Suggestion is power. The art of mental pictures. 1948. The mirror technique for releasing the subconscious. How to project your thoughts. Women in the Science of Belief. Now, when I started reading Women in the Science of Belief, I thought, definitely 1948, but oh, powerful stuff, powerful. Belief makes things happen. This is 1948, The Magic of Believing. If it's there and you can afford it, grab it. But TNT, The Power Within You, is a powerful, powerful book. And here are some of the chapters that we're going to be covering. TNT, or that something within called TNT, that's chapter 1. We'll begin that today. What that something has done for others. What that something can do for you. Stop, think, and analyze yourself. How to create mind pictures. How pipe dreams can become realities. Tap, tap, tap. Listen to the voice within. Decide what you want. Keep a written record of the things you want. I know it, I believe it, and it is so. Does any of this sound familiar? Let me know, guys, because I know that most of you are not aware of this book. This is it's, unless you're recommended to it, you're not aware of this book. Does any of this sound familiar? I will. Positive thinking can dispel fear and worry. Amazing evidence of thought transference. And those that have been on Morning Motivator before, or have been on Motivator, those of you who have been coming here for 2 years or more, know that we read part of this book. I've always referenced it. Amazing evidence of thought transference. Your mind can transmit and receive thoughts. Right mental suggestions can influence people. The danger in misuse of TNT. Now you have the power, use it. Share your good fortune with others. The future possibilities of mind power. Diane says, every day in every way I'm getting better and better. Think health, wealth, and happiness, and they will all be yours in time. It cannot be otherwise. Sounds familiar to me, yeah? Absolutely. Every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. That's something within called TNT. There is no introduction in this book. There's nothing. Chapter 1, that's something within called TNT. Why are you blocked? Are you afraid? Out of the air? Open your mind. Tap, 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 tap. Right is right. Where is your niche? Picture the force. That's the summary for the chapter. Now you may find that some of the language here is going to sound a bit odd, and it's interesting to see that in 60 years we really have changed some of the way we speak, actually quite a bit. Randy says, as long as I think better feeling thoughts, my reality just keeps expanding. That's absolutely bang on, Randy, and I know that everyone here is beginning to experience that at some level, correct? Yes, I want to check in with everyone. Are you all beginning to experience it at some level? Now, you know what? I mean, anybody listen to Super Soul Sunday on Sunday? It was pretty phenomenal. Eckhart Tolle. I mean, we almost did this book, and we may do Eckhart next time round. The Discovery of Inner Space. It was a big one for me yesterday because it really reminded me about inner space and about the ability to get in touch with my inner space at any time I want. Look at Eileen says, yes, I am beginning to manifest. Eileen, I want you to think about what you just typed there. I want you to feel the power of that. I want you to think back to a time not very long ago where you didn't feel that way. And that was not very long ago, was it? You wasn't sure? It's on at 11 o'clock Eastern, Claudia. 11 a.m. Eastern. It's Oprah.com. Yeah, Eckhart Tolle is on at noon Eastern. You watched Eckhart, Ruth? Oh, it was big. Okay. This is page 11 of the book. All right, we're going to start reading some of this today. Grab the book if you can, you know, get it. It's the same as everything else. This is the law of attraction in a different way, and isn't it important? Some of it is, Robin, okay? If you go to Oprah.com, you'll be able to get segments of it. Just look for Super Soul Sunday. It is very easy. I love the stories that are included in. Would you all agree that we get this? Okay, everybody here who's here today, and if I don't see anyone brand new, I'm just checking, fairly new, but not brand new. So we're all of the same mindset. We're all practicing this. We all get it, or we wouldn't be here, right? And so the more that we hear ways about it, it's like Dawn and I, at the first time we watched What the Bleep Do We Know? It affected me in such a profound way because I got it. I so got it. It took a while to get it. We watched it over and over. And in fact, the other night, Dawn says, we should watch What the Bleep again. I said, oh, yeah. We have the Down the Rabbit Hole version that has, I think, 5 or 6 different versions of the movie. It's all about the interviews, and it's all about listening and watching and thinking about what they're talking about and about what we're observing. And that's what this is about. This is about hearing it in someone else's voice. Because the more we practice and get it, the better it gets. For those of you who seek to learn and make progress, I gently lay this message in your laps. I do so without the slightest fear that it will turn your world entirely upside down, bringing you health, wealth, success, and happiness, provided you understand and accept it. Remember, TNT is a dangerously high explosive. So when you gather it closely, handle it carefully. Down through the centuries, its power has destroyed those who sought to misuse it. Therefore, exercise great caution that it is used only for good. This power can be proved by the teachings of the Bible, certain well-established laws of physics, and last but not least, just plain common sense. Read and determine for yourself whether or not the proofs I offer stand by themselves. Some of you may see only the spiritual side. Others recognize the scientific truths, and still others may accept it as just a practical operating device to put you on the road to success. No matter. Many know the truth, and for you who will open your minds, the light will pour in with dazzling white brilliance. I'm indebted to an old friend of mine, an expert on X-ray and electrical high-frequency apparatus, who, when I was a boy experimenting with electricity, called to my attention the first bit of powerful TNT in my pocket. Then I didn't know what it was and didn't understand, but fortunately it has remained there all through the years. As I look back, I realize why he didn't force me to understand what it was. He believed in me. He knew when I was ready to accept it, I would. It's taken nearly 30 years, during which time I sought up and down the highways looking, seeking, searching for that something, the secret TNT. All the time there was some in my pocket, mine for the mere reaching. However, I've got a firm grip on it now, and I will divide it graciously, knowing that if used wisely, it will blow away all obstacles and straighten out the road on which you've been wanting to travel all your life. It will blow away all obstacles and straighten out the road on which you have been wanting to travel all your life. Do you get that? So why are you blocked? For many years I was a newspaper man, frequently behind the scenes. I met great men and women, interviewed famous people. Naturally, I studied them and tried to understand what peculiar qualities they possessed that placed them above the others. But their secret evaded me. Then came the First World War, and I wondered why others made progress while I seemed to be blocked in my own ambitions. The war did teach me, however, that I could sleep in the mud, eat moldy bread, and live to laugh about it. This is part of my TNT, so remember what I learned. It helped me to give old man fear a solar plexus blow, and I believe it will help you. Hoping to find a royal road to fortune, I read hundreds of the so-called success books, but they took me nowhere. I did the same with books on philosophy, psychology, and still, the great secret kept just a jump ahead of me. I joined secret fraternal organizations, hoping that I might find that which I sought. However, just like the bit of TNT in my pocket, the secret was in every book, in the great orders, everywhere. In fact, right under my nose, but something kept me from it. You will have to determine for yourself what keeps you from it if you don't get it from TNT. It's there. If you don't find it in the printed word, look between the lines, as I've done my best to present it to you. How's this feeling so far? I have to tell you guys that maybe it's because yesterday was such an amazing day and I had such an amazing day with everyone. It was a birthday party for our grandson, and everybody was just happy, 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 and the place was happy. It was just, there was so much happiness, and we came home on a roller coaster of happiness, and it's just been more and more and more, and it just hasn't stopped. And as I'm reading these words, they're really resonating with me. I want to know if they're resonating with you. Do we want to carry on? Because remember, this call is all about you. I'm here to spread the word. I'm here to share the message. I'm here to share whatever it is it's going to take to help you really go, I got it. I got it. I got it 100%. And all I got to do is just, and I get it. I just have to be right here. And I was talking with Tamara this morning, and she had a wish, and I said, well, write it down. How does it feel to have that wish? Write it down and go, just keep that feeling. And I came home on a high yesterday, and it was, I'm very emotional. I woke up feeling very emotional, and I woke up this morning feeling emotional and busy because there was a lot going on, and I thought, and I'm very busy, and I felt that stress welling up, that stress? That stress that wells up because you got too much to do. And I just took my breath and I threw it all out there because I know that, the manager can take care of things. And I went about doing what needed to get done. And I just continued feeling amazing. And I just feel amazing. And I have tears in the edge of my eyes right now. I have a lump in my throat. My chest feels like it's going to explode, and I'm just in love. I'm in love with life. Oh yes, it's going to get so much better. So we're all on board? Yes? And I know some of you wanted us to read Ask and It Is Given, and we may get back to it when we're done this. I think we will be repeating Ask and It Is Given many, many times. We may repeat this one as well. We'll see how you feel when we're done. Page 13. Are you afraid? Following the war, I became a member of a coast-wide investment banking organization, and during the years I cherished quite a dream, as did thousands of others in all lines of business, only to discover that the air castles which I built were on an unstable foundation. That cataclysmic happening, which turned the world upside down financially, obliterated my air castles entirely, and I became afraid. I got lost in the fog. Everywhere I turned, something fell in on me. As an executive of the organization, my responsibilities multiplied. Our business, owing to the economic changes which were taking place in the world, faced a crisis. Many people, failing to understand the catastrophe which had overtaken business everywhere, were critical. All of this brought worry and many sleepless nights. I found myself dreading to go to work, fearing that each day would bring added misery. Oh yes, Maggie. Yes, we're reading TNT. We've decided, and we're on page 14. If you have the book, if you don't have it, it's a good time to get it. Yes. The weeks went by, and conditions got worse and worse. I was baffled. Several times I talked about getting out of the business. And one day, in the latter part of June 1931, I made up my mind to leave. I mentioned this to one of the women with whom I'd been associated in business for several years and saw nothing but reproach in her eyes. That night I tried to sleep. Again, I found it impossible. I paced the floor for hours. When at about 3:30 in the morning, I suddenly stopped and sat down. I was face to face with myself. I could follow the inclination to run and leave the others to carry on by themselves, or I could stay and do my share, a duty which I knew was mine. I caught myself saying almost aloud, right is right. It's always been right. It can be. It can't be otherwise. That was something I'd been taught since infancy. And suddenly there to appear to be an unfoldment. Out of the air came a voice saying, "What have you been looking for all these years? What were you taught? What did you learn? Where have you been? Where are you going?" I jumped to my feet crying, "I know it! I've got it now! It's the secret! That's what they tried to teach me! It's the royal secret, too!" Something told me that I would find those identical words in a book which had been given me many years before, and which I had tried to read, failed to understand, and had put aside. It was written by a great man, Albert Pike, a mystic, a poet, and a scholar. Pulling it from the shelf, feverishly I ran through the pages. The words were there, and I understood them immediately. Open your mind. Ah, yes. I now had the key. I could see a broad, smooth highway, and at the end of that highway, a perfect flood of gorgeously beautiful radiance. That's the road you are on now. What a simpleton you've been. They tried to teach you, they tried to help you, and you kept your mind closed, thinking that you alone could find the road and stay on it. I was nearly overcome with the joy of it all. My fears, my worries had disappeared. I smiled. I knew that I was right and that everything would be right for me from then on. I slept like a baby. There was a different atmosphere in the office that day. The oppressive black clouds which hung over us began to fade away. What had happened? Oh, I told the woman, she with the reproachful eyes, what had happened. And she smiled a knowing smile. She helped me get back on the track, and I can never repay her. As one learned man said, all of us are born with the ability to differentiate between right and wrong, with the ability to achieve. But some of us must run head-on into a stone wall, smash ourselves to bits, before we really know what it's all about. I hit the wall with a terrific crash, and it was the greatest thing, the finest thing that ever happened to me. Many, noting the transformation, asked for an explanation, and I told some of my closest friends, knowing it will help. And I give it to all of you. Tap, tap, tap. Take a little time, like a drip of water. Tap, tap, tap. TNT will wear away your old fears and doubts and prejudice, making room for new ideas, new concepts, and new truths. TNT. Tap, tap, tap. It is opportunity knocking at the door of your mind. Open your mind and let this knowledge in. And we're going to just stop there today. We'll carry on tomorrow. Feels good, doesn't it? And we're going to do our 15 minutes of guided meditation. Was that a wow or what? Diane, I know you've read the book before. I've read the book before. When I'm reading it now, it just makes more sense. It makes more sense. It's like the biggest wow ever. I've read it before, and I know that it affected me then. It makes more sense now. I really get this, that we're talking about the power that's in us to change the way we think, to open our minds, to stop thinking what is and start thinking about whatever we want. So today is general well-being. Just want to remind you that our videos are, whoops, sorry guys, let me cancel that. Our videos are 15 minutes long, so we're going to meditate. If the video doesn't come up and work for you, hang on a sec. You can open it on YouTube. I just have to find it. There it is. All right, let me bring it up. You can click the YouTube button if it's not working for you, or I'll give you the link in the text chat just in case, because I know sometimes it doesn't work. The author is Claude M. Bristol. Okay. He also wrote Magic of Believing. He wrote this with Harold Sherman. Claude M. Bristol. Thank you, Diane. Okay, and here's the link to the video. 15 minutes. Remember to breathe with music. Just relax. Let the music filter through you. Just focus on your breathing. That's what's important. Allow the message to just float through you. And we'll see you back here in 15 minutes where we'll finish up and say goodbye for the day.
Welcome. There is great love here for you. And as always, we remain in the vortex.
Certainly taking its time. That was a wonderful, wonderful way to start our week. I can't wait for tomorrow. I hope that you guys are expansive and frisky and eager for more. It is Marvelous Monday. The marvelous richness of human experience would lose something of rewarding joy if there were no limitations to overcome. The hilltop hour would not be half so wonderful if there were no dark valleys to traverse. Today I want you to give appreciation for everything. I want you to reach for your inner power. Think about the fact that we are on an amazing journey. Give appreciation for everything. Know that you are loved and in a sea of love, because that, my friends, is what makes a difference in your life. I love you. Remember, there's great love for all of you here. Enjoy some happiness today, and we'll see you all tomorrow morning at the Morning Motivator. Have a good day, everyone.